This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
Are you ready to travel? We got all the travel buzz here on Smart People Travel Wise with Alvin Adriano on PHLV Radio.
So welcome to another episode of Smart People Travel Wise. I'm your host, Alvin Adriano, and I'm so thankful to have my guest on today's show. We always love inviting some of the best, and I am so thankful to have met Cameron while visiting Jamaica last month. He's a great friend, and I just love his drive in this day of age. But before we get started, if you're just tuning in, as a reminder, for all of our viewers, if you're watching this live, hashtag live. And if you're watching this on the replay, definitely hashtag replay. Remember, always share where you're watching from so we can acknowledge all of you. Don't forget to catch our show on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can listen on the show on Amazon Fire, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Or even better, you can download the app PHLV Radio, which is available on all iOS and Android devices. So travel has evolved in many, many ways, and the pandemic, it really slowed things down. Travel has now become more purposeful and more meaningful. And as we're trapped in our homes, locked down, unable to roam, people like Cameron are set to show us the world through their eyes. Social media platforms are the future of media. And he has been able to create a digital world, inviting all of his followers along for the ride. On today's show, we'll chat with Cameron and find out how he sees the future of travel as an influencer and how he plans on molding the new landscape as an Asian American. So let me tell you more about Cameron. He has been profiled by the Washington Post as one of the travel influencers changing the way we see travel. As a creator, he has spoken on a panel hosted by Facebook on the state of travel and diversity in travel advertising. He's a frequent speaker at Pepperdine Business School and has been a keynote speaker at Pinterest on how to leverage social media as a branding tool for individuals and brands. Travel is very much in Cameron's life growing up, as his dad being the chairman for China Airlines and his mom being a flight attendant. Prior to becoming an influencer, Cameron worked in PR and marketing for over 10 years. Some of his experience include marketing at E-Networks, marketing for the city of Beverly Hills, PR and hospitality, and he also spent 5 years doing PR for Neiman Marcus before transitioning to become an influencer. Cameron combined his passion for travel with his professional background and launched his social media platform. Focused on luxury, lifestyle, and travel, Cameron creates visual stories, taking his audience on a visual journey of the best in life and travel. He's been interviewed by Business Insider, Parade Magazine, Out Traveler, and his photos have been featured by CNN Travel, Forbes Travel Guide, and many other travel platforms. So please smash those heart buttons and please give Mr. Cameron Lee a well-deserved thank you for being here. Hey,
Thank
Cameron.
You. Hey, how are you?
What's going on, my friend? How are you and where are you at?
I am back in LA after being in Mexico for about a week.
Oh my gosh, dude. I can tell you this for all of our viewers. We are all envious of your life. It just seems like it's a fairy tale of a dream. So I mean, is it what it's advertised to be, or is there more to it?
There's so much more to it. I think it's like what you see on TV. You want to present the best of your life to show to other people, but there's so much involved behind the scenes. And sometimes I get like 15 minutes of sleep and then I have to go on a plane or I have to get up and shoot sunrise, and it never stops. But the experience makes it all worth it.
Oh, that's awesome. And you're so right. People don't realize the story behind all of the pictures, the work and the ethic and how much it takes to get set up for all of these. And I think it's an amazing story that you've put together. But I mean, I know we're all wondering, how did you even become a travel? Like, how did you get into this industry?
Well, like you mentioned earlier, I worked in PR marketing for like over 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I did, entertainment marketing. I was a marketing director for a beauty brand. And then it was when I was doing PR for Neiman Marcus that social media became a big thing. And we were just working with influencers at that time. And it kind of started because I was so frustrated working with influencers on the brand side because, influencers sometimes they don't know how to work with brands. Like I'm a coming from us, we're like business people. So we're like, we need this, we need to market this, we need to highlight that. For them, oftentimes they will come in and just get whatever they want, that they leave. And they don't understand, like they need to deliver what a brand actually needs. Okay. So I actually started out of frustration to kind of get a better understanding of influencer marketing. Mm-hmm. And also I just thought, what if someone were to approach this whole influencer thing, but approach it from a business perspective and actually deliver what a brand would actually need? How far can that person go? And then I just started out of frustration. It kind of took off. And then I started my own agency. And then now I work with brands and individuals on social media branding and partnerships.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, finding a niche in a very competitive industry is so amazing for you, especially for you having the background. I know all of us are super jealous of being able to travel the world and shoot it in the lens and then capture it to share it with all your friends and family. I mean, it's an amazing journey. I can't even imagine what kind of work that goes into, like, I guess, setting up the photos, marketing it, distributing it, finding your niche. I mean, it all takes a lot of, I guess, compiling and analysis on your part, correct?
Yeah, it really took a lot, because when I first started, working in America, a corporate job in PR, mm-hmm. you're working 8-10-hour days. So I will work my day job, Monday through Friday, 9-to-5 job. And then on the weekends, that's when I would shoot the content, trying to build my platform during that time. And I would, work my 9-to-5 during the week, and on weekends I'll get up at sunrise every weekend for 2 years just to build my content. Mm-hmm. And because when you're starting to build, you have nothing, and then you just have to gather so much content. And the only time I have time to shoot is during sunrise, because when I try to shoot content, I don't want anyone in the picture. And in LA, that's very difficult. Yeah. So I have to get up at sunrise. So there were times I remember I would go with my friend. Like, we'll park our car in the street when the sun hasn't even came up yet. We're sleeping in the car until the sun came up, and then we'll shoot some photos. So it took about 2 years for me to build mm-hmm. before it even became what it is today. And I always tell people, I actually don't, if you compare it to some huge influencers, mm-hmm. I don't have that many followers, mm-hmm. but I'm verified on Instagram because I work with Facebook. I work with almost nearly all the luxury brands in the world in terms of hospitality, and some luxury brands in general, because I approach it from a very professional business perspective. And I think that's what kind of separates me from other influencers that are out there.
Oh, that's awesome. And I love that you pointed it out, because, a lot of people think I can be a travel influencer. It's a lot different now. The barriers to enter has become a lot more harder. To get viral, it's almost impossible now. For you, how has the game changed for influencers, and how, is it still a viable career for people?
Yeah. I talk about this when I do my workshops at Pepperdine and different places. Instagram and social media in general has changed so much. When I first started trying to build, it was about 2016. I was still working my corporate job. Back then, Instagram was very different. And you were able to grow a lot faster back then. When I was posting twice a day back then, and I was growing about 800 followers a week. Oh, wow. Nowadays, that's nearly impossible unless you have something that will go viral. And I think throughout the past 2 years, it became a lot more challenging to grow your numbers. So I tell a lot of people, if you haven't gotten to over 20,000 followers, it can be really challenging. But there are a lot of people that are very smart with their content, so they can grow if you have something that will make it go viral. But it is a lot more difficult nowadays if you don't know what your brand is, and if you don't know how to shoot content in a proper way. Because nowadays, it's not just photos anymore. Mm-hmm. They say that Instagram is now a video sharing platform. Yeah. So that's even changed. And then TikTok is out there now. So there are so many different platforms. I definitely tell people, if you're starting now, you really, really need to have a strategy to build. Otherwise, you're just shooting in the dark, trying to make something happen. You'll get very frustrated really quickly.
Oh, I love that. I love that you said strategy. And now that, you could have fell into your lap and become famous back then because the algorithms were so open. And I think now people have to realize that, it is really hard, and that you have to have like a really thought out, well planned to how you're going to build your content, what your look is, what your feel is, so that you can really connect to your audience really quickly. You also mentioned about purpose. I mean, you talk about, you felt like travel influencers didn't really understand the business side of becoming an influencer and how it could really, I guess, scale a business visibility and exposure. So has your purpose changed now that you've gone through pandemic, that you've now, I guess, are you like a senior? Are you more like...
I'm an old man in the industry.
Yeah, now that you're an old man, has your purpose changed now?
Yeah, it definitely changed. I'll have to say, when I first started doing this whole thing, it was really trying to get a better understanding of influencer marketing as a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I do it more and more, it's completely changed, especially last year. It became more about representation for me.
Wow.
Because I think, I've been on a lot of media trips with people.
Mm-hmm.
There are not a lot of Asians on any of the trips that I've been on.
Yeah.
Or if there's a person of color, there's usually one, and then you're in a group of 12, Caucasians, and then it's one black guy, or one black girl, and then I'm usually the only Asian guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think representation, especially last year too, a lot of things happen. And there's more conversation that really opened the dialogue for people to talk more about representation. And not only that, like travel has been such a major part of my life growing up. And I really think being able to travel, it really makes you a better person. It humbles you as a person to see other ways of life and different cultures. And I think a lot of people, they haven't experienced that. So one of my goals is really to inspire people to travel more, to have more of a global mindset. And then last year, throughout the pandemic, more so, I want to open people's minds and also seek better representation for Asian travelers to be out there, especially being an Asian guy. I've seen some Asian women that are in travel space, but I think that the Asian men, they go into fashion. So they're in the fashion world, but not so much travel, Mm-hmm.
No, I love that. I love how you've evolved, how you found different purposes and how you can represent in different ways. I totally agree. I mean, besides finding you at another conference, I'm usually the only other Asian person. And I think that is important because I believe we are really underrepresented in media, in entertainment. We talk about in different, in movies, in whitewashing. But yeah, in industries just like travel, there can be underrepresentation. I love your drive and purpose to make sure that our voices are heard in the media, because we do have perspective. We are part of this global community. And I think we do have opinions and things that we can share that can really take part and really take hold in what people view as Asians, how we're represented in travel and in the world. I'm so glad that you recognize that, because that's really important. You're one of the few travel influencers that I know of who really took on the approach of luxury travel. Being able to see it from your eyes and seeing it from, I guess, second generation here in America, it really shows how connected we are. Being able to see, for me as well, like I have an office in Philippines, but seeing how human the world has become, because people are appreciating the things that they never had before, which is connection, appreciation for other people. So I love how that has really evolved and become something that's driving you to continue on in this industry. Now, I mean, did you have challenges in your career or anything that kind of set you back? And now that you had to rethink, like, hey, I really need to have a better purpose instead of just becoming, travel influencer.
Definitely. I mean, there are so many things that really change how I see things. I mean, the Asian representation part has always been pretty important to me. I think I told you, like, when we met, like, I worked as an actor before, when I was going to college, and then a little bit after. And I really quit the business because there was such a lack of Asian representation. And oftentimes I don't want to say it's like racism, but it's stereotypes, you know? And I think that goes along with when somebody says Asian travelers, they think about the typical, like, the Asian travelers. And I just wanted to change all that, not even just Asian representation in general in travel, and also in mainstream media. And I think my setbacks that I've experienced, I mean, I quit being an actor, so that was a big setback back then. But for me, like becoming a travel content creator, influencer, however you want to call it, I think the biggest challenge for me was transitioning from my PR job into from the corporate world into what I'm doing now, because I had, doing PR for Neiman Marcus in Beverly Hills. It's a very high visibility job. So people kind of know me in the industry or like what I do. So when I start posting pictures of myself, like traveling and going to places or posting a photo, they didn't like it. They didn't like it. And I think people really tried to put me down multiple times.
Yeah.
And because I feel like people want to put you in a box because if they think, oh, you did PR, you do this, so you should just always wear a suit and tie and sit behind a desk at all times. But that's not what I want for my life. And I wanted to do something a lot more, and I decided to do it. And I think some people might be jealous of what you're pursuing because they're afraid to take a leap to pursue something that they actually want to pursue. So instead of encouraging you and supporting you, they want to bring you down. And I think I experienced a lot of that when I was trying to build my platform. So I would say the biggest challenge I had was leaving those people behind, to be like, you know what, I just have to let these people go so I can pursue what I want to pursue.
Oh, that's awesome. I love how you said that. And just to let all of our viewers know, the stereotype that he's talking about, that Asians are handsome and dashing. So, we take that stereotype very seriously.
Yeah, very.
But yeah, it's great. I mean, I think you hit it right on the nail. Like representation, they try to put us in a box. They want us to be something different. I love that your perspective and how your angle, how you want to hit this, because I think we do need to support other initiatives to get represented in the media. For you, how would you want other AAPIs to be represented in the media? What would you say would be something moving forward in your eyes, because you've been in this industry for so long?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is we shouldn't be a token campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Like I shouldn't not just be reached out because Chinese New Year is happening. They're like, come stay with us because of Chinese New Year. I'm like literally I can travel like anytime, all the time, not just for Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
And then, and so many brands, because I work in PR marketing. So a lot of people like, oh, it's Black History Month. Let's work with Black creators, this and that. No, like for me, everyone should just be seen as normal people. And we shouldn't be like, oh, we're running a campaign, so let's toss in one Asian guy, one Black person, just so that we can check. We shouldn't be something they check off a list for. We should just be included just because we're people, And I think more so in the US, we need to change that a lot more than what I see overseas. So I wish in the US people can change more. And I've talked about this at other places. It really comes from the top. Leadership. You have to, until someone on top is willing to make the change, it's really hard for people at the bottom to make those calls. So it has, change has to come from the top.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it does. Leadership does reflect on the people that you're responsible for. And so I wanted to ask you, in terms of people on the bottom, people like young people who are getting into the industry, they don't have a lot of influence. They don't have a lot of connections. They're just trying to make it. What kind of advice could you, provide to them so that they want to maintain their morals, their traditions, but how do you get into this business? How do you protect yourself from being stereotyped like that?
I think if you really sit down and identify who you are as a brand, that's the number one thing. So if you really flesh out entirely what you're about, like I said, I'm travel, but I'm luxury travel. And I only want to travel to nice places and stay at nice places. And that's what I want to cover. And I mean, I have friends that are like backpackers or like budget travelers, and they would not like, because I know I want to work with the Four Seasons, I want to work with the Aman Hotel, the resorts, and that's my brand. Those are the places that I want to work with. And I always think about it, like if I'm that brand, would I hire me, Yeah. So if you really identify flesh out who you are as a brand and then stick with that and be consistent, I think consistency is what scares people the most, because it's a lot of work if you want to be a content creator or entrepreneur to start your own business. A lot of people give up after a while because you don't see a return, but it takes time. I always say it takes about 2 years, not just to build your Instagram, but to build a business, So, and also be ready to have multiple sources of income if you're a content creator route is what you want to do. But I think consistency and knowing your brand, and very, very, you have to just understand your brand so well to a point that you know exactly what you're about. And when people look at your account, they know what you're about. Because oftentimes when I worked in PR, if I look at someone's account, I don't know what this person's about. I don't know. I don't care if you have 5 million followers. If I look at your account, you're all over the place, and I'm a hotel, I'm not going to work with you.
Yeah. I think you're so right. I think people have to realize that everyone's so distracted. There's so many things going on that if you don't know exactly who you're wanting to target, what you're focusing on, what you're specializing on, it's just too much clutter. People just need to know what it is that you represent so that they can really figure out if this is what I want to work with, who I want to work with. I believe you have to be crystal clear in your purpose and why you're doing the things that you're doing. So thank you again for sharing that. This might be a little bit little curveball, but what do you see as the future of social media? Like it's become now a source of income. Source of information. Now you use an educational platform. Now we're using it for location and for news. Do you see social media evolving to anything else or incorporating it more in our daily lives?
Yeah, definitely. I do see social media becoming more and more. I think I see more things becoming more virtual, meaning shopping. I think e-commerce is going to there's already shopping features on social media already, but I think in the future, more brands are going to integrate shopping features, and the platforms are working on that. Like I know a few people that are working, for some of these apps, like by integrating more features for people to stay on the app. That's what people are they want people to do. And in terms of influencer marketing, I built my platform on Instagram, but that's changed.
Okay.
So it is still the number one branding tool. I always still tell people it's still the number one branding tool, but I think there are other, like TikTok is really making an effort to take over as a main social media platform.
Wow.
Because more and more, because of the pandemic, really changed how people consume social media. And all the influencers that are older got on TikTok. So they started making TikTok. So that completely changed the demographic that are using TikTok. They're still younger, but there's buying power there now, where it didn't really exist like 5 years ago. So a lot of brands that are smarter nowadays are really going on TikTok, because if you create one viral video, you can sell out of your product in one day. And that's happened to a lot of beauty brands that sold their products. One viral video from a user-generated content, not even from the brand, that can sell out an entire inventory of some product. So I think it's definitely changing in a way. There will always be something new. So you just have to almost chase after what's the latest things. And I always tell people you have to jump on it early. Otherwise, it's just going to be too late.
So so we're basically endorsing TikTok to become the next travel influencer. I got to catch on this bandwagon.
Oh my God. Yeah, definitely. I have to say more so I got on TikTok like last year, like everyone else. Yeah. And I was like posting some video content, this and that. But this year is the first year that brands started reaching out to me for my travel videos that I have already posted. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to buy them or they wanted to work with me. I've had like deliverables nowadays include TikTok videos.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Again, like the evolution of information, how people want to consume it, how, everything's become on demand. Everything has been short. It's unbelievable how fast we've accelerated through this pandemic. But crisis is the true revealer. You can find opportunities. Was there any positives that came from the pandemic that you that you wish move forward, continuing on in the future?
Definitely, let me think. I think people value travel more nowadays than ever before.
Yeah.
I think I mean, I'm sure you talk to many people, they all feel the same. And also I feel like because people were stuck at home for so long, and more people want to travel now more than ever in a way. And I do think travel will come back to normal as we move forward to a normal world at some point. But yeah, if anything that came out of it, I think it's the appreciation for travel and being at a different place. And because I definitely feel very uninspired being stuck in LA for that long. And because I love architecture, I love history, and LA we don't have a lot of history and we don't have a lot of architecture. So I feel like I was just sitting at home. Like, we have nice restaurants and stuff, but I just love being able to walk outside and see like so much history around just by walking around. So I think the appreciation for travel and the desire to travel probably increased during the time of quarantine.
Oh, I would agree with you so much. I mean, being trapped in these four walls has definitely taken a toll on many people, but it also increased our imagination and our inspiration to travel, because being unable to roam freely, oh my gosh, I can tell you the travel rebound is real, and people are really excited to be able to travel again, to stretch out and just enjoy exploration, especially all around where we are. So yeah, I'm really so thankful that you were able to come on here, Cameron. I really appreciated, when our paths crossed last month. You never know how people will be influential in your life, but I'm so glad I've been able to meet you and just find more reasons to like understand your purpose and hopefully continue in supporting you. If people did want to follow you on social media, could you share where, how they can keep in contact or follow you on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, if that?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram and TikTok, mainly Instagram. So you can find me at the Cameron Lee, THE Cameron Lee, on both TikTok and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have major successes. I hope you'll be able to see more of your posts and continue in supporting your vision, your perspective in the travel world. With that, do you have any last minute advice or tips or final thoughts that you want to share with our viewers today?
Yeah. I think the main takeaway for everything that I've done and talked about, it's, if you're pursuing something, you're going after something, don't let people put you in a box. And sometimes you have to let people go if they don't serve your purpose. And I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned from my transition from the corporate world to the content creator world. It's not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever.
Yep.
So and it's very important to surround yourself with people that really support your purpose and your goals. And I think that's really at this point in my life, and what I want to let people know, it's if you're around people that don't support what you want to do, you'll never go after what you want to do. So it's really about surrounding yourself with the right people and let go of people that don't serve you.
Oh, I love that. I love that, because, we travel to expand our knowledge, and sometimes we outgrow things. We outgrow people, we grow experiences, but that's what makes the world so beautiful. I think, now that we've been able to like really look down and refocus our lives, I mean, travel can change so many people in just a variety of different ways. But I'm so thankful for you to be here, Cameron, and I really appreciate you spending a little bit of your time chatting us about the travel influencer world.
Yeah, anytime.
Awesome. Thanks, Cameron.
Thank you.
So people like Cameron allow us to visually see the wonders of the world through a lens or through social media. Whatever way you prefer, his perspective and views on creating a more inclusive world is so amazing and admirable. As diversity continues to be an ongoing fight, no matter what industry you're in, I am so grateful to meet Cameron and be part of his journey. And I always appreciate learning more about his stories behind the people that you see in the life that you cross. The beauty of this world lies in the diversity of its people. So again, Thank you again for joining us on another episode of Smart People Travel Wise. I remind everyone that we air every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time or 3 p.m. East Coast time. And as travel continues to rebound, contact our award-winning travel agency, TravelWise International, at 301-248-8898, or you can visit on the web at itravelwise.com. Thank you to all of our viewers and listeners who've been able to join us today. Your support is so humbling, and we would not be able to do this without your support. So until next time, smart people, travel wise.
Just like a friend from back home. This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.